Shalom and good day all, this is Tehilling29 back again for another indie comic review, and in this indie comic review I'll be covering Hornsby and Halo by Peter J. Tomasi, who is now over at Ghost Machine at Image Comics, and plus whatever other stories we still managed to get from him through DC Comics. So let's move on to first things first, and that is the area in relation to the cover ratings. So as you can see there, we do have one blank cover here, to which I will not be rating. Maybe if I had, say, an image of Hornsby and Halo with the Super Sun, I reckon that would make for a great rating. Especially for the picture that would be on it, seeing it's a blank one. But seeing it's on its own, it will not be getting a rating. So the main ones that will be getting a rating will be the main trade dress cover and one of the variants that I managed to get one of the other variants I managed to get a hold of. So for the first one, which is on the left-hand side, I give an 8 out of 10. For the second one, which is on the right-hand side, I give an 8.5 out of 10, as I actually quite like what they've done with the cover with this. And really good choice for the art here. And I also like the chess scene here. And we also get to see the main characters sort of like in and out of what they actually are. This one, it's sort of like more, one on the left-hand side, it's a little bit more up front as to how we actually see the characters. Yes, we do see their main appearances, but we see that one character is, of course, the devil, and the other one's the angel. So now let's move to the area of the internal art, which we'll have a look around the beginning, middle, and of course the end, and also what's happening story-wise with the characters. So as the story begins, we get sort of like a bit of an origin in relation to these characters. So we know that the names of these characters are called Zachary Halo and Rose Hornsby. And we, of course, get to see them before they're sort of like in human form in the area of what's happening in the area of sort of like heaven and hell within this universe. Of course, there's a little bit more here as to what is happening. Of course, they end up going to a particular plane, and one of the things that are suggested at the plane is that they these children get swapped from their parents. We finally get to catch up with Zachary and Rose as they're on their bus, sort of like leaving school and whatever. And of course, some certain events take place. So as Rose returns home, she ends up to a birthday party. But one thing we also learn about this is that they both celebrate birthdays on the same day. So that is actually quite interesting, seeing this play out in the story. Of course, as Zachary returns home, he has whatever he gets. But when Rose turns home, she ends up with a family, a loving family to her. We get to learn a little bit more about the life of Zachary and also where he's growing up. We end up moving into an area of a cemetery. Finally moving into the last bit of their particular day of what happens, until they find out, well, there's something really different about them. And of course, we see Zachary is related to, I guess, the angels in this, and Rose is related to the devils. And with something that sort of like took place with some of the events in the cemetery, there are some things that they end up returning with. Of course, we get a bit of a look at what the next issue is going to look like, or the next issue cover is going to look like. So it's going to be interesting as to how this story will continue. For the internal art, I gave it an 8 out of 10 as I really enjoyed this story. And it's sort of like a real good beginning origin story for this. Next is the area of the story itself. So first things first, do we get anything that addresses time-wise? Not so much, but we do know that there is a birthday that takes place. Next is the locations that we see within the story. Heaven and Hell, of course, Earth. We also have the Abysmal Plains, which is something like between Heaven and Hell, to which a decision was made in regards to Zachary as well as Rose. We also have a bit of a community centre, which we get to see in the story, as well as a cemetery towards the end. And let's not forget their own homes. The cast of characters consisting of Zachary, Halo, and Rose Hornsby. We also learn that there's a couple of other people there, Ben and also Mr. Wender. For the overall story rating with this, I give it an 8 out of 10. I definitely recommend you check this out, especially if you enjoyed Peter J. Tomasi's Super Sons. You might enjoy this too. Until then, let's keep it colourful and have yourself an awesome day.